Welcome to the debate. So imagine it's the 89th minute of a World Cup final. The score is totally tied up.
The absolute classic scenario, right? High stakes.
Exactly, the highest. And the manager is pacing the touchline, and they decide to make a game-winning substitution, pulling off their star striker. But what if that decision wasn't made by a human relying on decades of football instinct?
Right. What if it's a machine?
Yeah, what if it was dictated by a computer vision algorithm? Calculating the micro tears in that player's hamstring in real time, warning of an imminent rupture.
I mean, it completely shatters the traditional image of the sport, doesn't it? We really like to believe that the beautiful game is directed by human passion, sudden inspiration.
Oh, for sure. The solitary, visionary manager making a gutsy call.
Yeah, making a call based on what they feel in the moment.
Exactly. But the reality of modern tournament football is that this romantic, instinct-driven landscape is fundamentally altered. I mean, we're looking at a tactical environment today that is governed by cold, hard processing power.
It really is.
And the FIFA World Cup has always been the ultimate proving ground for tactical evolution. We saw it with the Hungarian teams of the 1950s. We saw it with the Dutch total football of the 1970s.
Right, the historical shifts.
But the revolution we are witnessing on the grandest stage today, well, it isn't being drawn up on a chalkboard. It is being driven by artificial intelligence, advanced computer science, biomechanics, and frankly, my perspective is that this technology elevates human performance.
Okay, elevates it how, exactly?
By turning football into a highly quantified, predictive science, it pushes the boundaries of strategic complexity without actually stripping away the genius of the sport. It's a net positive.
Well, I come at it from a very different way. I certainly don't deny the staggering analytical power of these systems. I mean, they are marvels of modern computer science.
Absolutely.
But my position is that converting this sport into a purely predictive science inherently threatens the very essence of the game.
The essence, meaning the human element?
Exactly. When a national team manager's decisions are dictated by objective algorithms rather than human gut feeling, we risk losing the intuitive unpredictability that makes football the beautiful game. The essence of sport lies in human fallibility, limitation, and intuition, not just mathematically optimized efficiency.
I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective on what we are actually dealing with here in terms of sheer scale. Because I think people hear data analytics and they picture a guy with a clipboard counting passes.
Right, the old school statistician.
Yeah, but the reality of modern World Cup stadiums is that they are equipped with highly sophisticated optical tracking systems. We are talking about an array of cameras capturing the exact coordinates of the ball plus all 22 players on the pitch.
At, 25 frames per second?
25 frames per second, yes.
Which creates just an absolute ocean of what analysts call spatiotemporal data. I mean, you're tracking where everything is in space every fraction of a second.
Exactly. It's millions of kinematic data points per match. Historically, that massive influx of data was simply too overwhelming. The human brain cannot process the precise 3D spatial coordinates of 23 moving objects that fast.
No, you can't just eyeball that.
Right. You can't instantly derive structural meaning from it. But machine learning algorithms thrive on that exact scale. By utilizing neural networks, these systems process those millions of points into actionable tactical.
In the farthest reaches of space, one scientist refused to stop searching. Every discovery uncovers the Scientist Explorers. Available now, just $4.99 on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. Start the adventure today.
Exact scale. By utilizing neural networks, these systems process those millions of points into actionable tactical models in milliseconds.
Milliseconds?
Yeah. It is a necessary evolution because the game has simply outgrown human analytical capacity.
Well, I concede the mathematical necessity of the processing power, sure, if your goal is total optimization. But the research we're looking at explicitly points out that the sport is moving away from intuitive unpredictability.
And that's what worries you?
That phrase is exactly what concerns me. You're talking about processing millions of data points to achieve total spatial awareness. But when a manager relies entirely on these algorithms to dictate the flow of the game, they are outsourcing their human intuition.
To an objective formula.
Exactly. Sport, at its core, is a contest of human beings navigating their own limitations. If we engineer out the fallibility, like the missed assignment, or the risky tactical gamble based on a gut feeling, we are sanitizing the sport.
Sanitizing it? That's a strong word.
I think it's accurate. We are replacing the deeply human essence of competition with a sterile, mathematically optimized machine.
That's an interesting point, though. I would frame it differently. Let's look at how this data actually evaluates the microscopic decisions a player makes on the ball.
Okay.
Because this isn't just about drawing pretty geometric shapes on a screen to tell a coach what happened. It's about fundamentally understanding the value of an action before it even finishes. This brings us to a concept called expected possession value, or EPV.
Which is built on reinforcement learning, right?
Correct. So for those who haven't looked at a tactical dashboard recently, traditional football statistics were inherently retrospective. We counted passes, we counted shots.
Tackles, saves.
Yeah, all after the match was over. It was a ledger of what already happened. But EPV models evaluate the game predictively in real time.
So looking forward instead of backward.
Exactly. Imagine a midfielder receives the ball. The AI instantly calculates the mathematical probability of a goal resulting from every potential action.
Oh, so like a pass down the wing might have a 12% chance of leading to a goal.
Yes, and a dribble through the center might be 4%, a long shot might be 1%.
And how exactly is the AI coming up with those percentages on the fly?
Through reinforcement learning, the system has essentially studied millions of historical passes from thousands of matches. It simulates the outcomes like a video game playing itself millions of times.
Learning which spatial decisions historically lead to a high-value outcome.
Right. So for a national team, in the condensed, high-stakes environment of a World Cup, leveraging these insights strips away inefficient passing networks. It mathematically optimizes a team's build-up play.
Look, I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Stripping away inefficient passing networks sounds great in a boardroom, but on the pitch, I don't believe this is a purely positive development. Individual genius in football often looks historically inefficient until the exact moment it succeeds.
I'm not following. Give me an example of how that actually happens on the pitch.
Well, think about it from the perspective of the opposing defense. If a midfielder is evaluating their options and the historically efficient pass is that 12% probability pass down the wing, the opposing defense expects that.
Because they are also using the exact same data.
Exactly. They shift to cover it. The true genius of the sport often comes from a player attempting that pass through the center that your reinforcement learning model flagged as having only a 2% probability of success.
And an inefficient choice.
An inefficient, highly irrational choice based on historical data. But because it is irrational, it catches a defense completely off guard and it cuts them open.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right. So if players and teams are conditioned by EPV models to only choose actions based on what historical data dictates as optimal, we engineer out the sudden, unquantifiable flash of individual genius. We program players to be risk-averse data executors.
I hear you, but I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning. You're assuming the AI acts as a straitjacket, when in reality, it acts as an amplifier.
An amplifier? How so?
Think of a chess grandmaster using a supercomputer to study openings. The machine doesn't physically move the pieces during the tournament. The grandmaster still has to sit at the board, feel the tension, and execute.
True, the human still plays the game.
Right. What the supercomputer does is map out the mathematically proven pathways to victory. It illuminates the board. EVV models do the exact same thing for a football team.
But they don't force the player's hand.
Exactly. They don't mind control the midfielder into making the pass down the wing. The player still has the agency to attempt that 2% pass if they see a fleeting opening. The AI simply ensures that the surrounding framework, the build-up play leading to that moment, is as structurally sound as possible.
That's a compelling argument, but have you considered that chess and football are fundamentally different universes?
In what way?
Chess is turn-based, right? It's played on a finite grid with fixed pieces. Football is fluid, continuous, and inherently chaotic.
Okay, fair point.
When you train players to conform to a model's preferred pathways in training, you are creating systemic conditioning. It becomes muscle memory to take the 12% pass instead of the 2% pass.
You think it inherently limits their vision?
Yes. And if you're optimizing those passes, you aren't just changing what happens on the ball. You're changing where the players off the ball run, which brings us to the spaces between the players.
You're referring to spatial dominance?
Precisely. You mentioned earlier that neural networks process all this tracking data instantly. The foundational material highlights how teams are using this to build pitch control models.
Yes, often utilizing dynamic Voronoi diagrams. Wait, before we move on, for those trying to picture this, a Voronoi diagram is basically an overlay on the pitch.
Right, it draws geometric bubbles around every single player.
Exactly. Bubbles that expand or shrink based on their speed and direction. It shows exactly which patch of grass a specific player can reach before anyone else on the field.
It divides the pitch into zones of control. And by running those through deep learning models, the AI instantly calculates the probability of a team controlling any given space in the next few seconds.
Yep. The algorithm identifies vulnerabilities in an opponent's formation before they're even exploited.
It calculates who will arrive at a specific patch of grass first, based on the velocity and trajectory of every player.
It's a supreme structural guide.
A supreme structural guide, absolutely. But what happens to human vision? We are shifting the way we understand the game from human observation to algorithmic output.
But is that a bad thing?
I think it is. If you have two elite national teams at the World Cup, and both coaching staffs are utilizing millisecond precise pitch control models to achieve spatial dominance, doesn't the game risk becoming a deterministic clash of algorithms?
A clash of algorithms instead of a clash of styles.
Right. It stops being a contest of human adaptability. The traditional visionary coach is relegated to essentially being an IT manager, merely executing a machine's probabilistic output.
Executing commands from a tablet?
Yeah. If the tablet says, opposing left back is out of position, exploit sector 4G, the coach just relays the command. Where is the tactical battle of wits?
Well, let me jump in here, because the tactical battle of wits doesn't disappear. It evolves to a higher plane of complexity.
A higher plane?
Let me explain how players are actually interacting with these pitch control models, because it shows why human ingenuity is still paramount.
Okay, lay it out for me.
The deep learning model calculates the probability of spatial control based on current coordinates and velocity. But it cannot account for intentional psychological deception.
Deception? What do you mean by that?
Let's say a striker knows the opposing team's algorithm is analyzing his speed and direction. That striker might intentionally run slightly slower than his top speed.
Oh, I see.
Or they feint to run toward the near post to artificially drag the pitch control model's calculation toward that zone. He is deliberately feeding the algorithm false data with his body movement.
Which tricks the opposing defense into shifting.
Exactly, instantly opening up space at the far post for a teammate. The human players are now interacting not just with the opposing defenders, but they are actively trying to outsmart the opposing team's AI.
They are manipulating the algorithm's expectations.
Yes, that is a level of strategic complexity that we have never seen before.
I hear you, but listen to what you're actually saying. You are describing a sport that has fundamentally changed its core language.
How so?
The players are no longer playing against the opposing players. They are playing against a computer model. This turns the game into a metagame of data manipulation.
A metagame.
Yeah, we are turning the pitch into a giant quantified spreadsheet where athletes are trying to hack each other's data streams. It becomes an exercise in mathematics rather than raw athletic competition.
But that mathematics is exactly what unlocks the next frontier of this sport, and not just in terms of tactics and strategy.
Well,
If we look at the physical human bodies playing the game, this data explosion is achieving something objectively, undeniably good. Player welfare.
You're bringing up the biomechanical tracking.
I am, because it's arguably the most profound triumph of this technology. We talked about the cameras tracking the 25 frames per second. But they aren't just tracking a dot representing a player on a 2D map.
Right, is much more granular now.
The computer vision algorithms powering modern stadiums are taking raw pixels from the broadcast and instantly mapping a full 3D skeletal structure of every player. They analyze posture, they track joint stress.
Analyzing fatigue levels in real time?
Right. By looking for deviations in their movement, The system establishes a baseline for how a specific player runs. Then, it uses predictive analytics to forecast the likelihood of muscular injuries by identifying anomalous decelerations.
Anomalous decelerations, meaning slowing down differently than usual.
Exactly. If a player normally decelerates from a full sprint in exactly 3 steps, and in the 80th minute it suddenly takes them 3.2 steps, the human eye misses that.
The manager on the touchline misses that.
But the algorithm doesn't. It flags the microshift in the player's biomechanical gait and warns the bench that a hamstring tear is highly probable in the next 5 minutes.
And look, nobody is arguing that preventing a torn hamstring isn't a good thing. I want players to be healthy.
Well, I get the romance of the gut-feeling manager, but let's be real here. A torn hamstring doesn't care about a player's willpower.
That's true.
During a grueling World Cup schedule, a manager's gut feeling might tell them to leave their star player on the pitch for the final 10 minutes because they look fine.
Right.
But if the skeletal tracking algorithm is screaming that the player's gait has deteriorated, ignoring that data is bordering on negligence. Choosing romantic intuition over objective data when a player's career's on the line is reckless.
I don't deny the injury prevention benefits, and I'm certainly not advocating for medical negligence. But I am pointing out the philosophical cost of treating human athletes as collections of kinematic data points.
The philosophical cost?
Yes. Part of the sporting essence, part of why millions of people tune into the World Cup, is the grueling, deeply human struggle of endurance.
Wait, you think pushing a player to the point of physical breakdown is part of the essence of the game?
No, I think the trust between a human manager and a human player is the essence. Picture the scene. It's the 85th minute of a World Cup quarterfinal. The players are exhausted.
Setting the scene again.
Exactly. The manager looks his captain in the eye from the touchline. There's a silent communication there, an assessment of willpower, of resilience. The manager asks, "Do you have 5 more minutes in you?"
And makes the choice to trust the player.
Right, to trust the human spirit of his player to push through the fatigue. That is a deeply resonant human interaction. Now, contrast that with an iPad buzzing because a computer vision algorithm dictates a substitution.
You think it mechanizes them.
We are mechanizing the athlete. We are telling the player, your willpower doesn't matter. Your subjective feeling of readiness doesn't matter. The algorithm says your anomalous decelerations have reached a 4% threshold, so you are coming off.
I mean, when you put it like that,
It reduces a heroic physical struggle to an automated maintenance schedule. It's like changing the oil in a car.
okay, but a muscle fiber tearing under excess load operates on physics, not poetry.
Well,
Hear me out. The integration of AI here doesn't strip the game of its essence. It ensures that the players are physically capable of actually delivering those flashes of genius that fans cherish.
sure, by keeping them on the pitch.
Exactly. If that star player tears their hamstring in the 85th minute because the manager relied on eye contact instead of skeletal tracking data, that player misses the semifinal. The entire tournament is robbed of their talent.
That's a fair point.
By grounding these decisions in rigorous analytics, AI empowers teams to push the boundaries of human performance safely.
It keeps them safe, yes. But it fundamentally alters their psychological relationship to their own bodies and to the game itself.
How so?
When players know they are being monitored at 25 frames per second, when they know every micro movement, every deceleration, every postural shift is being analyzed by deep learning, it changes how they play.
You think it makes them self-conscious?
It creates a surveillance environment on the pitch. They aren't just expressing themselves freely, they are performing for the optical tracking cameras.
Performing for the cameras.
Yeah.
They know if they show fatigue, the algorithm will pull them from the biggest match of their lives. It creates a hyper-rationalized environment that, I argue, stifles the very intuition that birthed the greatest eras of football in the first place.
That's a fascinating interpretation, but I would argue that the creators of Dutch total football would have killed for this level of spatiotemporal data.
Really? You think Johan Cruyff would want a tablet buzzing at him?
I do.
Total football was entirely about spatial awareness, about players fluidly interchanging positions while maintaining a cohesive, structural dominance over the pitch.
They relied on organic, collective intelligence to visualize that space.
Exactly. And AI simply provides a tool that perfectly maps what those visionary players were trying to do in their heads. It doesn't stifle the intuition, it proves it mathematically.
Or it commodifies it. Look at it this way. If total football was a beautiful, unpredictable piece of jazz improvisation, AI turns it into a synthesized pop track where every single beat is quantized to the millisecond.
A pop track?
Sure, it's perfectly on tempo, it's mathematically flawless, but it lacks the soul of human variation. That slight imperfection is what makes it art.
But the game has moved on.
Now, having said all that, the foundational material makes it clear that this marks a permanent paradigm shift in how football is understood and mastered. And I have to agree with that reality.
The volume of data is simply too vast.
It is. The competitive advantage is too massive for any team to ignore. We can never return to the purely analog era. The tracking systems are installed, the neural networks are trained, the data is flowing.
We definitely have convergence there. The sheer scale of the analytics, from expected possession value to skeletal tracking, means the genie is out of the bottle.
Definitely out of the bottle.
And I maintain that this scientific quantification elevates the sport. It forces managers and players to operate at a higher cognitive level, creating a more intricate and masterful tactical chessboard, where the physical and the analytical are perfectly synchronized.
And it optimizes the strategic flow.
It ensures the players are protected, and it optimizes the flow of the 90 minutes.
And I remain steadfast that we must be incredibly cautious about what we are trading away in pursuit of that optimization.
The human core.
Yes. Replacing intuitive unpredictability and the raw gut feeling of the sport with highly quantified probabilistic science risks eroding that human core. Efficiency and optimization are excellent principles for computer science, but they are not the virtues that make a sport beautiful.
It is a profound tension at the heart of modern football. We started by picturing that organic human drama on the grandest stage, the manager pacing the touchline relying purely on instinct.
Right.
Now we have to picture that same manager with an earpiece receiving real-time probabilistic output from a neural network analyzing millions of data points a second.
It's a completely different sport underneath the surface.
It truly is. And it leaves us with a fascinating question to consider moving forward. As these algorithms continue to learn, evolve, and process even deeper layers of the game, will the ultimate victor of future World Cups be the team with the greatest raw athletic inspiration, or will it be the team with the most rigorously optimized mathematical models?
It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Next time you watch a tournament match and see a striker make that perfectly timed run, dragging a defender out of position, you have to ask yourself, are you watching a flash of human genius, or are you watching a player deliberately hacking a pitch control algorithm? It's something to think about.